it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Hey, welcome to Movie Friends. My name...
Wow, trying to spice it up.
I'm here with my friend Michelle Rubenstein, who likes your script and wants to be in it.
Oh, that's true. And I'm here with my friend Seth Vargas, who has an infected bioport.
Ew. What's going on?
Not a lot. I went to Montauk over the weekend. That was nice. That was nice weather. That felt like spring.
How very eternal sunshine of the spotless mind of you.
Yep. Right? Never would have even thought to put those two together. But how are you?
Meet me in Montauk, of course. It's the whole thing.
I know, but I don't think of things like that. I'm just like, oh, I get to go smell the ocean air and feel the breeze. I want to bottle that scent and wear it and light a candle of that. It's my favorite scent. It is healing.
Low tide?
Just ocean. I love it.
I feel like a broken record, but I don't have a lot going on. I've been watching so few movies for me.
Yeah.
Lately.
Yeah.
Because I've been walking a lot and I've been working.
Mm-hmm.
And like just getting out of the house way more.
That's good.
But I miss it. I want to watch a movie.
Oh.
I'm sad.
Well, at least you got to watch this one.
That's true. That's very true. I did get to watch eXistenZ twice this week.
Which sounds like a condom.
I mean, look, it sounds like a lot of things.
It does. It does.
If you've ever been to a gas station, they usually have pills, that you can buy. I think it's called eXistenZ. And I don't know if that keeps you awake or what it does, but I know I'm not looking at them. I put my hand up. I don't even want to see the eXistenZ pills. You know what I mean?
Wow. I don't know what you mean, but now I do because you just informed me.
We maybe should give a little warning. Look, folks, here at Movie Friends, we're a family-friendly show, okay? But this episode might be a little raucous.
I mean, are you seeing the title of this episode? Turn it on, be like, hey, kids, gather around. Let's listen to this episode of Movie Friends.
I would love to know if anyone was like, hey, kids, let's listen to a podcast about movies.
Maybe, though. Maybe.
Do you think that there are kids out there who listen to us?
I have no idea. If you're a kid, let us know.
They're listening to someone cooler and funnier.
Yeah, probably a topic they're into.
Claviculars, they listen to those peoples.
I don't know what that is or who that is.
TikTok people,
I don't have that app on my phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to clarify on your phone.
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't ever look at that app. Anyway, you know what's exciting, though? You know what app we do have on our phone? We have the podcast app, Apple Podcast app, and we got a new review, Seth.
Oh,
finally.
My goodness. So exciting.
I know. So,
you want to read it?
I do. Obviously, because I'm like chomping at the bit here. Okay. The title of the review says Movie Friends. That's us.
That's us.
This is from Warren Trey. 5 stars.
Warren Trey.
Michelle and Seth live up to their theme song as they tackle film without pretension. Their overall healthy attitude towards movies and pleasant demeanor is a breath of fresh air. Even if they have a take on a movie that I don't agree with, I still enjoy hearing their reaction to the film. I'm really excited for their upcoming movie and can't wait to see what it entails.
Wow. Well, hey, thank you so much. Thanks for the review. Thanks for saying we live up to our theme song. You ever watch a show that doesn't live up to the theme song, where the theme song is the best part? I would put Happy Days in that category.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Tuesday, happy days. You don't think the show lives up to it?
I think the theme song is doing a lot of heavy lifting with Happy Days, but
Wow.
thank you for the review and for your interest in our movie. We're making a movie, folks.
We are. Exciting stuff. Hey, did we get any emails?
We did.
Email. Wow. Emails and a review in 1 week? Baby, we're back.
Subject line is Matilda. Going back before our Christmas break, Michelle and I talked about Matilda, and I think we both, I mean, spoiler alert for the episode, but I think we both gave it 5 stars.
Wait,
right?
was that before Christmas?
Yeah, it was like the last episode of November, I think.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, continue. Yeah. Wow.
All right, email says, I never knew that DeVito directed this.
Wow.
Growing up, Roald Dahl was one of my favorite authors. You guys dissecting the Matilda song is top tier. And I just want to say, we talked about this a little bit in our Discord, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Hey, folks, sign up. You get to support us making a movie, and you get to join our Discord. And we talked about this song, and I said, one of the most eye-opening experiences that you can have as a person is put on Send Me On My Way by, is it Rusted Root?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
Put the song on, and then pull up those lyrics. Read along. Don't read ahead. Just read along. You will be shocked. Mara Wilson is one of my favorite child performances. I think we agree with that. And the Moby Dick joke is the best. P.S. 4-star movie. P.S.S. Cousin Maria did Trunchbull for Halloween. One of my favorite costumes ever.
Yep.
And P.S.S.S. The Zinnia voice needs to go on the accent wheel.
Yeah, we should add it. Thank you.
I don't know if I can do that. If we land on it, you have to do it.
No, that's not how this works.
Okay.
Nope.
Hey, and that email's from Ben. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, so today we are talking about I'm trying to say it like Christopher Eccleston says it. eXistenZ.
eXistenZ?
eXistenZ from 1999. This is written and directed by David Cronenberg. First Cronenberg on the podcast. Edited by Ronald Sanders. Cinematography by Peter Szulczycki. Composed by Howard Shore. Costume design by Denise Cronenberg. Starring Jennifer Jason Leigh, Jude Law, Ian Holm, Willem Dafoe, and Don McKellar. This movie was made for $15 million, made about 5.5 at the box office, and they filmed this from April 6th to July 8th. Okay, so for this episode, Michelle, I wanted to do something special, so I brought this along with me.
What on earth are you holding, and why does it smell?
It's a game pod, like from eXistenZ. I made it myself.
Oh, you made it yourself?
Yeah, and I thought it'd be fun if for this episode we just, plugged in.
Whoa. When did we get bioports installed?
Oh, I did it during Petite Maman when you weren't looking.
Are we entering the game world now?
Okay. Hey, we are now in eXistenZ. And, who is this? Oh, hey. It's our old pal, Felicia.
You need to go to the Chinese restaurant and order the special. Do not take no for an answer.
What, Felicia, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
You need to go to the Chinese restaurant and order the special. Do not take no for an answer.
Oh no, it's eXistenZ Felicia. We have to say the right thing to her to progress to the episode.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me think. I know. Felicia, can you please read our summary?
Allegra Geller is a world-famous video game designer who is about to debut her latest creation. While at a testing event with fans, she is almost assassinated by a bone gun-wielding extremist that believes Geller and the games she makes are altering humans' perception of reality. Now on the run with a man who knows nothing about games, Allegra must keep her game pod safe and figure out who is trying to kill her and why. In order to do both, she needs to go into her game, into her creation, into eXistenZ.
Very good. Wow. Felicia, thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Please. Thanks for having me back. I'm excited.
It's been a long time, and I gotta tell you, I genuinely can't remember if the last time you were on was for either The Mask or Paris, Texas. I can't remember what we did first.
I was trying to think about that also, and I feel like every time I'm on, we're like, what was the last time? But I think Paris, Texas is after. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I had
think
to
so
have
too,
been.
because The Mask was for Jim Lai, and Paris, Texas was your pick, Seth. Maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
It all blurs together, but I wanted to mention those episodes because I want for listeners to know what I think of when I think of Felicia. And when we're about to tackle an episode, I have to at least throw it out there. I'll be able to be like, you know what? This is really a Felicia movie. And so maybe she'll say yes. And so we're very happy that you're back and that you're here to talk to us about this movie.
Oh my gosh, it was great rewatching this movie because I hadn't seen it in a long time. I'm sure we'll get into it, but the fact that this worked out perfectly, I'm always happy to come back on the show, especially if it's about my boy Cronenberg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I kind of wanted to start out by asking. I got to be honest, as excited as I am to have you here, I'm equally as excited to hear what Michelle thinks about this movie. But Michelle's shaking her head. No.
I wouldn't be.
Okay, but this is we're almost at 300 episodes, folks. Okay, we have not done a David Cronenberg movie on the main show yet. This is our first one. This is selected and voted in by our patrons. Shout out to Billy Mays III for nominating this one. I don't know if he's nominated this before or not. I kind of feel like maybe he did.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm glad that it got a second life and that we have a chance to do it. So Felicia, if you can, as a film lover, as a proud Canadian, can you run us down David Cronenberg and your relation to his work?
Heavy question, but I'll try and not gush and start crying. But yeah, he's a fellow Canadian. No, he's a fellow Canadian, and I didn't grow up in Toronto, but he's a Toronto boy, and he's very close to everyone here. We're very proud to have a director who's made it out of Canada because it doesn't happen too often, and one that kind of still worked within the Canadian film system as opposed to others. Villeneuve, no comment there. I have some beef, but I really don't want to take up time on that.
Yeah.
But Cronenberg, oddly enough, in the early 2000s, we had a channel here called Scream Channel. It would play horror films, and a thing in Canada is called CanCon. So you have to play a certain amount of Canadian content in order to keep your channel alive. That includes like television, radio, so a certain percentage. I can't remember what the percentage is or was then. Anyway, all that to say, I'd watched a bunch of Cronenberg stuff, didn't know it was him until I was a later teenager and heard about Scanners, Videodrome, and went back and watched Shivers, The Brood, and being like, oh, I saw these when I was definitely too young to have watched them, but had a better appreciation for it. I've seen him in person quite a few times. He does a lot of talks here. He's very involved in the film community here, despite the fact that he could very much retire. But I'm glad that he still wants to work. And last thing I'll say is when I was in film school, first year, the TIFF, the film festival, they have a cinema here. And the first year they opened it up for film students before they opened it up to the general public. They invited us to go see a movie. We didn't know what it was. We get there and they're like, "Hey, it's Videodrome and Cronenberg is here to talk to you guys." And I was just like throwing up in my mouth with excitement, you know.
Wow.
So it was fantastic. So I am definitely a huge fan, and I will say, I'm sure we'll hear about it. I rewatching this one specifically was thinking about you, Michelle, because I was like, "There's no way you're gonna like this." But I'm glad you watched it.
Yes, of course. Wow. I'm so happy that you got to experience that. That is so special.
I know, it's my favorite story.
It's so cool. It's very cool.
I don't think that I would be like really intimidated to meet many filmmakers, but I do feel that I would be intimidated to meet Cronenberg. Like I've heard him talk. I've seen every one of his films except for M. Butterfly, and then I've also seen a lot of his shorts. I've spent a lot of time with this dude's storytelling, and I would be like freaked out. Like I think I would maybe like not talk to him because I would just be afraid that I would say something stupid, because he strikes me as such a really intelligent guy, and it seems like he gets reduced to, you know, body horror, which is a phrase that someone came up, you know, a reviewer, you know, a critic came up with that term, like talking about his movies, and then it just kind of stuck. And he doesn't really enjoy that term himself. And yeah, I would be freaked out to be in the same room with that guy.
Yeah, I totally feel that. And he is kind of a little bit intimidating because he's a tall, kind of spooky looking guy, but he's also very, very chill. Like any of the questions, because usually people will open up to Q&As, and his answer is not, it doesn't, it's not dismissive, but he'll be like, "It's really not that deep. You're thinking too hard about it." He just is like, "I thought this would be interesting." I think he kind of downplays how intelligent he is, for sure.
Right. Well, so on that note, I'm watching eXistenZ, and I'd only seen it once before watching it this week. And so right off the bat, I'm like, all right, I got to really put on like my smart hat. I got to pay attention. I have to remember what layers of the game and the story we're in. You know, I need to come into this being able to explain this movie. And so right off the bat, we're in a church. There's 13 chairs on the stage. And I'm like, oh, this is the Last Supper. This is Jesus and the disciples, you know, because Allegra Geller is this godlike figure to these people. And then I listened to Cronenberg's commentary on the eXistenZ DVD, and he started laughing. He's like, "No, people here thought that we were doing a Last Supper thing, and I thought that was funny. Honestly, originally we had 16 chairs on the stage, and I just thought that was too many."
That's a good impression.
Like, but I did get tickled at the thought that people would make that connection and think that that's what we were trying to say. And I don't know, you know, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of like watch this movie and be like, what does this mean? And then you hear him explain what it means, and you're like, oh, I guess it's not as weird as I thought. But having said that, Michelle, this is your first time watching this film. Is this your first Cronenberg film?
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Okay. So set the scene for me. How are you watching this? What are you thinking? What is happening?
Well, I'm not someone who usually gets squeamish when I watch things. And usually I can eat while I watch movies and stuff like this. Doesn't gross me out. And so my takeout just arrived. And
Oh,
yep. And so I'm watching this, and I got to tell you, I was just like, oh, I felt real sick to my stomach during this movie, which surprised me. And just like, it was really disturbing. And I was surprised that I was so disturbed by things that are not even like that. I don't know. Is it disturbing to have like a sphincter belly button as a bioport? I don't know. Like, is that gross? I think when you're like fingering it and making like a wet noise, like it's so gross. Real gross.
Ooh. My stomach is turning just hearing you say these words.
Right. Well.
Yeah. Okay, so then it's gross, and the movie's going on, and then we start getting multiple layers.
Yeah, and so
we're doing twists.
We're doing twists, but I'm also like, what is going on? What's the point of this game? This game sucks. Like, I wouldn't want to play this game. She, as we're presented at the time, Allegra creates this game, and I'm like, what's the point of this game? And then it made me think of like, did you guys ever do that thing? Well, okay, I don't know if this was a thing, but when I, like 10 years ago, this was a thing where it was like, if you thought about the game, you lost the game. And we're always playing the game.
Yes.
Okay.
Felicia, are you aware of this?
No.
Okay, so this is something we did, like when we were like kids or teenagers. All right, so there's this thing called the game. And once you know about the game, you are playing the game. And the only way you lose the game is by remembering that you're playing the game. And that's it.
That's it.
Huh.
Yeah.
And so you just, like, until Michelle said that, I haven't thought about playing the game in probably 15 years. So I had a really long streak going.
Well, same.
That, Michelle.
And then I lost the game while watching eXistenZ.
Right. So Felicia, you're now playing it whether you want to or not. And until you remember that you're playing it, you're winning.
Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Noted.
Yeah.
Whenever people are like, what did you do before the internet? It's like, we did that.
We played the game.
Which was still kind of nothing, but yeah. Okay. So overall, I got to tell you, I almost texted you to say, Michelle, I don't think you should eat during this movie. And then I was like, I can't do that because it's going to give away too much.
Right.
And now I kind of wish I had.
Yeah. So I just was like, what's the point of this game? I think it's a stupid game. And then as far as the movie goes, when we get to the end, I was like, okay, you gained some of my respect.
Why? What changed?
Well, because then the game was an actual, like, not Allegra's game, was another person's game. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oh, are we still in the game? Like, when does it end? We're always in a game.
Right.
I wouldn't want to play this game, to be honest with you. I don't think this is fun. And the runtime was fine. So
is that you're done with this episode?
That's it. Like I'm excited to hear what you two think. But yeah. And then I tried the next day because Aunt wasn't home when I watched this. So I'm explaining to him and he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah. And then there's like these pods and I don't even know how to describe them. They're like flesh color and they're like, they make like a sound and you like plug an umbilical cord into your back sphincter belly button, like in your spine. And he was like, what? I'm like, all right. How does one explain this?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. And then the eating of the bugs. I was like, wow. Why am I so grossed out by this? I like gross things, but this is like really making me crazy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys, what do you think is the grossest moment of the movie? I'll go first. I definitely think it's Jude Law sucking gelatin off of bones, like quickly, and even saying like, I find this disgusting, but I can't stop. And then he's just like sucking them down. Like you ever see, you guys are both vegetarian. And so I can't imagine this is an enjoyable experience for you. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. And he like slowly puts together this bone gun. And I'm like, oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That shoots teeth.
Yeah.
Oh, that one had a cavity. I'm like, what is, what are we doing? What is happening? What? What was the inspiration for this? Was this a dream?
You texted me that at one point you yelled out at your TV. What moment was that?
I think it was the eating of the bugs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what the F is happening? Like, to no one. My cats were around me. And I'm like, again, just.
Okay, all right. I have only seen, like I said, I've only seen this once before, and as much as I love Cronenberg, and I firmly believe that he's one of the most important and influential and consistent directors of the last 40 years, I was like, I'm gonna just kind of move along and pretend I didn't see anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think eXistenZ is better left, you know, not when I talk about Cronenberg. This won't be one that I talk about. And then revisiting it and hearing him explain everything, he just genuinely had like the most almost mundane explanations for things that it made me feel silly for finding them so gross and weird. And on the bug thing, in one interview, he was talking about how before he was really into technology, he was really into biology. And he was like, I love all the bugs and stuff. And there's so many creatures that we haven't discovered yet on this planet. And I thought, if I could introduce one of these amazing creatures to the world, how great would that be? And so I created the game pods.
So, like, that thought, right? Which,
Yeah.
respect. But maybe the game could have just been exploring these bugs.
But using them, like they're
Well,
like
sure, we could
everything
use-
is alive. And like there was something that I wanted to mention that Felicia, I don't know if you've noticed this or if you know this, and I thought that Michelle, that you would appreciate this coming from like a production and practical stance. There is no technology in the movie. The only technology that exists are like the game pods and the mini game pods and then cars, but they purposefully took out. There's no TV screens, there's no computer screens, there's no phones. And then in that moment where he has to have a cell phone, they invented the pink phone, which is just like a blob you put to your ear.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wanted to create a world where it seemed futuristic, not because there was extra stuff, but because we took stuff away. And so I don't know. I don't know if that helps or changes anything, but like that's why they are animals basically and like living beings, because he didn't want to have like futuristic technology until the very end when we come all the way out.
Right. The pod design. Does Cronenberg speak on this? I'm just curious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. 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 They originally had something more mechanical.
Mm-hmm.
Then they melded it where it was like half mechanical, half natural. And at the beginning, when the guy comes in who's like, oh, I'm late or whatever, and he pulls out like the old console that like it looks fleshy, but it's still kind of hard plastic. That was like their evolution towards the final product. And so he was like, oh, we should just put this in the movie as a older version of the game pod. And so yeah, they kept progressing until everything, including the guns, were like alive and animalistic.
Right. Just like a flesh blob, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Felicia, did you have a grossest moment?
I feel like I've become fairly desensitized from his stuff, and I honestly don't think it's his grossest for sure, but the scene at the trout farm when he's cutting open the frog, it's the veggie person in me. I was like, I don't know why. It wasn't even the cutting open. It was like the, I don't know, liquid that was kind of bubbling up outside of it. I was like, I think I'm good not to see that.
Yeah. Right.
That was pretty gross.
Yeah. I would also put forth perhaps Jude Law putting his tongue in the port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, that was my character.
Yeah. If you've seen Crash, though, it was very. I felt like it was kind of a nod to that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a worse moment in Crash that genuinely like has me like up out of my seat. That I'm like, I cannot believe what I'm watching. Okay, this movie comes out in 1999. So Cronenberg had an idea based on the real life experience of author Salman Rushdie, who put out a book in 1988 or 89 called The Satanic Verses. And the political leader of Iran declared that he should be murdered. And they put out like, I think a $2 or $3 million bounty on his head because it was blasphemous to Islam. And so Rushdie has to like go into hiding, and Cronenberg was like, that's interesting. An artist whose work causes people to want to kill him. And so he started to think about that. Then he got to interview Rushdie for a Canadian magazine, and he had to like go with like a police escort to like a secret location. This is like almost 10 years later, and he was still in hiding. In fact, I don't know if you guys remember, but Rushdie was stabbed back in 2022 because he started doing like live events again, and yeah, he was stabbed. He lost the sight in one of his eyes. He almost died. As recent as 2016, state-backed media companies in Iran raised like another $500,000 to add to the pot of the bounty on his head. Some of the translators for the Satanic Verses were murdered. So this is like a real serious thing. This wasn't just like people were mad at him for what he said, you know, like other works of art. This was like people were genuinely. One guy actually died because he was working on a bomb, you know, in England, like to kill Rushdie. And so this is what is going through Cronenberg's head. And then when he interviews him, they ended up talking about video games and like the implications of video games on society, and also the idea of whether or not video games can be considered art. That's my next question for the two of you. What is your relationship to video games? Do you think that this movie has anything to say that has any bearing on our current reality with video games? You know?
Yeah, I don't have. Well, I grew up, you know, in the 90s playing video games, but not to the extent of what video games are now. I was playing, you know, kid related ones that I still play, like Mario Party. I'm not playing something that feels immersive. I feel very outside of the games that I'm playing. And I think that the 90s, and something like Cronenberg has always explored the rise in technology and how it affects people. And it made sense to turn it towards video games in the 90s because that's when things were sort of becoming a little bit more realistic. And if we look back on those games now, we're like, they didn't look realistic at all.
Right.
But now they do, and there's people who, you know, are chatting to each other, and it's like they're on it all day, and it takes over their physical and mental health. I, watching it this time, definitely thought more of the virtual reality side of it, and, you know, our current rise of AI. And I think that's, to me, why the film still feels relevant, whether it's a favorite of yours or even one that you like of Cronenberg's. I think it feels very fresh, unfortunately. Like a lot of his stuff, even like when you go back and watch Video Jam, you're like, oh yeah, we're kind of in that world. And it kind of feels like, you know, what Michelle was saying, I don't want to play this game. Sometimes you're living your day-to-day life watching the news and you're like, I don't want to play this game that we're currently in. So it kind of feels like If he were to make it today, it probably would be about AI and us sometimes not knowing what's real or not. I don't know that. I think we've moved past the idea of video games being the real terror, and more so what's readily available for everyone to use, for better or for worse. So that's very dark, actually. So hopefully someone can say something more positive.
No, but I think you're right on that. I couldn't help but think that too while I was watching this, of just being sucked into a game and how it can take over your life, kind of in that thought, but then being stuck in this type of game. And then it's which is the reality, which is not. Is this escape worth it? Is this escape fun? I think we can get really preoccupied and caught up on it. And especially with AI and AI, our relationships with AI and, friendships with AI bots and relationships with, which creeps me out and freaks me out. This also reminded me of Second Life and The Sims
Oh, yeah.
Online. When I was a teenager, I played The Sims Online, and that was a crazy experience. But it was virtual, and I was like obsessed with being in that world.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I grew up playing video games a lot, and I played role-playing games, and I was a kid, so again, going back to 1999, this is The Matrix came out, I think 2 weeks before this one did.
Yeah.
And there's The 13th Floor is another movie that came out in 1999 that also deals with the idea of, an alternate reality. 1999 is the year that Columbine happened. And so one of the really big reactions to that was, violent video games, or people who can lose themselves in a fantasy. And unfortunately, like Michelle said, we have this relationship to AI chatbots where people are like actually losing their minds and losing their ability to tell the difference between like what's real and what isn't. And so back when I was a kid in 1999, and eXistenZ and other people are like probing these questions. And Cronenberg is super clear that like he does not think that video games make people violent. One of the big questions I had was like, does Cronenberg play video games? And it wasn't until I found and listened to the commentary, and he was talking about specific games that people had likened eXistenZ to, that I was like, oh yeah, this dude knows what he's talking about. Because he would just say like, I think one of the ones he said like, I'm not a great gamer, which like I don't know what that means to him, if he's just trying to be like humble and be like, I'm not like a video game expert, but he has an idea and an understanding of like what video games are. And so even though he wasn't trying to make that point with this movie, it's still this question of like a dangerous reality that you can get lost in. So if you had asked me back in 1999 as a kid, I would have been like, leave me alone, let me play these video games, this is just fun, stop it. But now, like, now I don't know. I actually don't know, because they've become closer to being real. Like Felicia, you said, if you look back at the games then, it was like, come on, no one, you can't possibly think that this is real. But now it's getting close to the point where we are questioning reality all the time. Mm-hmm. We see an image and we have to say, is this AI? We never had to say that before. We would say, is this Photoshop? But those were easier to tell. And so if we're moving along a timeline where it's so impossible to tell that, we're in a game like eXistenZ where, there's that scene where she's out at the gas pump and she's just like feeling everything, and she's like picking up dirt and like looking around because she knows she's in a game, and she's like, wow, this is pretty amazing. And I've done that before too. You start up a new game and you're like, what's jumping like? Or like, hey, look at that water or whatever. So yeah, if that's the line that we're heading down, I don't know. I don't know that it's good. I don't know that it's good.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
another thing Cronenberg says is he's like, I'm not trying to be prophetic with my movies. He's like, all my movies are about the present. If they have like, staying power, then okay. And so this was what he thought about video games like all the way back then. Okay. All right. Jennifer Jason Leigh as Allegra Geller, the woman whose name is almost a palindrome. I tried as many ways as I could. Allegra Geller with an A. Her name is almost a duplicate of itself, and I couldn't find any real reason for that. I did start to look up everyone's names and like the meaning of their name, because I was like, this all has to mean something. And then I was like, I think I'm just looking too far into this. But Jennifer Jason Leigh, Allegra Geller, what did you guys think?
She, to me, she's the weak spot in this movie, and I think I just have a
Wow.
yeah, and I will. This is the only, and maybe I should have saved it for the end. I'll probably bring it back, but I think from the years of watching her through, I don't know, decades of the films that she's been in, I never really had an issue with her. I think I'm just thrown off by her in person, but I can usually kind of, whatever. But watching it this time, I was like, I'm kind of over her whole shtick, and I was like, is she even really a good actor, or is she just kind of playing this sort of '90s sultry? I think that it does work. I really think other people could have done this. I like the character enough, but she kind of is the least interesting thing to me in this movie, which is unfortunate because it is also a very male heavy film outside of the Sarah Polly appearance towards the end. But
Right.
I have to blame JJL for this one. She just didn't vibe. It just didn't vibe with me on this watch. I know.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
didn't like her at all. So,
Oh
Good,
man.
good.
no, I was like annoyed with her, maybe because I didn't understand her. Again, like, I just, I know I shouldn't have been doing this, but the whole time I'm like, I don't understand the point of your game, and I think it's stupid. So, and therefore, I just, whatever, y'all can judge me for it. I don't, that's just my honest truth. And then towards the end, I'm like, were her and what's his name? Pickle? Jude Law, were they a couple?
Pickle, they call him.
Pickle, my apologies.
Yeah. Pickle is kind of funny though.
Okay,
I
Pickle,
also
were they
never know how to pronounce it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
were they a couple? Because then when they're in the game, they start making out, and I'm like, what? This seems unnecessary. I wasn't about it. I just didn't like her. She annoyed me a lot.
Yeah.
But I felt Felicia, the same point though. I was like, this is very male heavy here. And I'm usually the one who's like, yes, I want to, I'm all about the female character here. And she's leading, but I just didn't like her.
Yes. So they are together. And
Right.
one of the principles that I can't remember if the movie like comes right out and says it, because I got to be honest with you, there are several accents in this film that I just cannot tell what they're saying. And then later on in the movie, they literally say that. They're like, I couldn't tell what I was saying half of the time. But one of the things that I guess you're supposed to pick up on is that character, like you bring your character into the game. And so when we're in the main world, I suppose, Jude Law Pickle is covering up the fact that he is there to kill a game maker, which pulls all the way back to the real world, question mark, because we don't even know. That could just be another level of the game,
Right.
where it's revealed that Jude Law and Jennifer Jason Leigh are there to kill a game maker. And this unsettles the game maker you know, in that real world at the end, he's like, I'm really concerned about the game that we just saw, because he knows that people bring the story, or at least like their characters, into the game themselves. And so he's able to pick up on that. And she mentions when they all take their devices off at the end, she says to them, she's like, oh, so I guess you could probably all tell that I had a relationship with him before we started. And they're all like, yeah, we just watched you guys go at it for 2
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked her in this. I don't know, guys. I think I might just like women more than you.
Sure.
Okay. But I liked her. There's one thing that I was obsessed with, and I don't know if you guys noticed it. When we're introduced to Allegra Geller, she has a large purple ski boot purse.
Yep.
And it is the thing that she carries around her game pod in. And I was obsessed. I was like, this is why is this happening? And then we keep seeing it throughout the movie, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, if someone showed up to a party or to dinner and they're like, this is my purse, and it was just a giant ski boot, I'd be like, you're the coolest person I've ever met. So maybe the ski boot helped enamor her to me. You guys didn't like that?
No, it was cool. I just didn't know we were talking about her accessories. That was neat.
I was going to say what really threw me off was and I know that's also a part of the different realities that there's the hair changes. It's not the hair changes, is when you first meet her when they're first in the game and the half crinkle, half straight. I was like, I hate this look. I hate it. Yeah. And I know it's 90s and I know it's trying to be edgy.
Yeah.
But it made me very angry to see it. Yeah. It's just not a good look.
I was in the mall last week, and the amount of people that I saw. Now, listen, listeners, if you don't know what I look like, I just want to set the scene. Imagine like the pink phone from this movie, and then it has like a little bit of hair on it. That's essentially what I look like as a human. Okay, so I'm saying that so that you know that I know what I look like. Okay, so calm down. But the amount of chunky highlights that I saw, I could not believe. And I said to my wife, I was like, do you see this? Is this back? Is this a thing? Oh my God. And I don't know if it's just where I live, but chunky highlights, man. Wow.
Yeah. I've been seeing it too. And I'm always just taking it back. I'm like, why are we bringing back the worst things though?
Like, okay, how do you do that what did you called it, crunchy hair?
I just called it a crinkle, but I know there is a
crinkle.
Yeah, it's like a tool where you can like wave it. I used to have one actually.
Yeah, it was a look. It was a look then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle, do you have any pictures with the crinkle cut?
No, with the crinkle cut. No, it was a style. And no, actually, I had this waiver and I never used it. I actually just got rid of it. I was given to it for years ago. I was like, I'm not.
What is a waiver?
It's like it's a hot tool, and it's got waves, and you put your hair in it, and it will create that look. Like there's a straightener, and there's a curling iron, there's a blow dryer, and then there's the waiver. Seth, do you know these things? Am I just?
I know, yes. I think it's funny that you added blow dryer in there.
I'm like, how much does Seth know? Does he?
There's a comb. I mean, it is a foreign world to me, the hair world. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
When Pikel is like, like a port into your body, how does it not get infected? And she just like opens her mouth and sticks out her tongue. She came up with that apparently on set. Jennifer Jason Leigh just like did that, and Cronenberg was like, "That's amazing. We're gonna keep that." And I was like, "Whoa, that does make sense." Because I had the same questions. I was like, "There's no way that you're gonna put something in my sweat spot." You know what I'm saying? Do you guys not know what I'm saying?
No,
No,
I know what
yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
grossed out.
the lower back.
Yeah,
Okay,
we get it.
It's
We
look.
got it.
A lower back is not exactly the most attractive of the human body. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who's going for the lower back, right? That's your sweat spot. That's your hairy spot, usually.
Some
mean-
people tattoo that spot too.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
in that
true.
era.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna tell me that a port in my sweat spot isn't gonna get infected? I'm gonna get infected just without a hole back there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is there a cap? Well, this is
Right.
just, you know.
Is there a cap?
Open wound at all times.
Like, could you put a fidget spinner in there?
Yikes. Wow.
Wait, you're the one who said cap.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a cap so it's sealed versus a fidget spinner that's just sticking out ready for you to play. You know?
Well, I mean, that's the play port.
Oy vey.
Okay, going by this movie's logic, 100% safe, can't be infected, all that different stuff. You can plug in and walk into a world that's just like the real world. Would you guys get a bioport installed?
I kept thinking about this. I've been
Mhm.
thinking about this because I'm like, if everybody was doing it and that was the normal thing to do, is that something I would do? Because it's just like, hey, we're hanging out, plug in. You know, if it was just like something, and then like, do generations just grow up and you just get them when you're young? You know,
Right.
does it become part of society?
Right. Well, they say it's like getting your ears pierced. And so
Right.
we do literally pierce little
Mm.
kids' ears.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't think anything of it. So yeah, again, like it's this world. Are you an Allegra Geller or are you Ted Pikel?
I feel like kind of what Michelle was saying. If I've already lived within the world where this has been happening, I realistically probably would get one. But if it's like, hey, tomorrow we're starting this new thing, I would have questions because
Yeah.
the way Willem Dafoe, because it was Willem Dafoe who did it to him, right? His character, because it would be Willem Dafoe.
Right. Yes.
Didn't look like the most, enjoyable experience.
Mhm.
I don't like to inflict any sort of pain on myself that I don't need.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And then like these ports are not real because it's in
Yeah.
the game.
Right. Because when we pull out to I don't know what to call it, but the final world. How about that? When we
They
pull
have
to the
headgear
final
on.
world, it's actually transmitting
Right.
neurally. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if I would or not. The idea, I would be like Jude Law. There's a lot of really fun ideas that Cronenberg is playing around here with the vulnerability of male sexuality
Mm-hmm.
that Jude Law, I think, plays to perfection in all of his line deliveries, where he's like, I'm just very concerned about my body. Or I think the craziest line of the movie when Jennifer Jason Leigh is like, your bioport, it wants action, and she's like, rub it, and I'm like, and he's like, well, I don't want action if it does. No. And then he says, the other one is, I have a phobia about having my body penetrated surgically. So I thought that was fun to put the female character in a place where she is the one who's kind of, doing this to him and like guiding him through this process. That's really not something that we see depicted in film maybe ever. I don't know that dynamic is quite explored ever. So this to me gets points just for that, because here it's Jude Law, and this is like prime Jude Law here. He's like the most beautiful
Wow.
man on earth at this point,
Mhm.
maybe. And he's like cowering in a hotel room as Jennifer Jason Leigh tries to like, infiltrate his body and like upload her game into him. And I thought it was interesting. Anyway, okay. On that note, Jude Law, British guy playing a Canadian. Felicia, how does he do on his accent?
I mean, I think when we see later on that like you mentioned, that they didn't understand what each other were saying, I was like, this purposefully has to be bad because the British is coming through a lot. And I was like, maybe it's still early in his career where he just hasn't perfected a North American accent, let alone what a Canadian accent would be. Or they just didn't, they blew the budget and they didn't have enough for a coach, a dialect coach. But even Christopher Eccleston, who's at the beginning, who gets shot, his accent, when he does, again, whatever would be a Canadian accent, I was like,
he was doing like
rough.
a New Yorker guy. In
I
the
don't
beginning,
know
he's
what
like,
that was.
You know that was New
eXistenZ.
Yorker? I don't know
It's
what.
pronounced eXZ. Now listen up, yo.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, we know what Christopher Eccleston sounds like, and it's like, this is really something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never noticed Jude Law's accent until he would say sorry or a boot, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, really?
It just feels
I
so
just didn't-
clunky coming out of him.
I didn't catch on to that at all.
Really?
Yeah. I also don't hear it. So it probably was more obvious to other people.
Okay. All right. Okay, but Jude Law as Ted Pikel, did you guys like him more than her?
Yes. I did.
Yeah.
I don't really have notes.
Yeah.
Thank you for your presence, Pickle. Thank you.
Pretty much. I mean, I think he's great, and I think, again, because I was like, he looks like such a baby here. Like, I couldn't figure out how old he was, and he was 27, which is still very young. But I thought he was younger than that. And it's still, again, early in his career. I think this is the same year as talented Mr. Ripley, where he's literally just playing someone who's supposed to be gorgeous. And he goes on to be the Jude Law that we know. And it's kind of cool to see someone that early in their career take a risk doing a Cronenberg film, and one that's not stuff that he did later on, the more a little bit straightforward stuff. This is a weirder Cronenberg. And I forgot to mention at the top, but just a side note, I definitely would not recommend this as a first of his. To start with, it's not a good spot. Right. But no, Jude Law was great. I thought he was good.
What would you recommend as the first one?
I always say I think the best one to start would be Videodrome, to get into kind of, I think that one really just encompasses everything. And then you can go Dead Ringers. I know a lot of people start with The Fly, but I think The Fly is just slightly too commercial for my liking. I feel like I'd want to recommend something before you hit The Fly if you haven't seen it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I feel like if you watch The Fly first, and then you're going to be like, oh, this guy's a lot weirder than I was anticipating. And that movie's weird, but it's not. It's not like The Brood.
Well, that movie's a good introduction to disgusting. Like, The Fly is incredibly disgusting and disturbing. But yes, it is very commercial and fun. Like, I think it's still a fun movie where I would never describe Videodrome or Crash or this as like fun.
No. Crash is definitely not fun.
Yeah. I would almost maybe say like Scanners.
Yeah. Scanners is a lot of people's first ones too. I haven't watched that in a long time though.
But then also, there's like the two Cronenbergs where there's the science fiction stuff that he does, but then there's the more straightforward movies that he does. Eastern Promises is just like an incredible. Everyone talks about History of Violence, which is very good, but I would watch Eastern Promises over History of Violence like any day. Okay, yeah, I liked Jude Law in this, and he has to deliver some really crazy lines, like when he's like, eXistenZ is paused, and then like collapses into the table. I was like, what the heck is going on? His final line, death to transcendence, death to pilgrimage. I was like, wow. But I kind of felt the same way. I was like, you know what? Good for him for doing this as like a young kind of up and coming talent. And I don't want to, like saying like slumming it is the wrong word, but like, it's a smaller production. It's really weird and it's really odd, but I give him a lot of credit. I give everybody a lot of credit for like going on this journey and doing their best, with a pretty heady, strange set of materials here. Okay, I want to mention Willem Dafoe as Gas, the mechanic. Michelle, were you surprised and excited to see our friend Dafoe show up?
Dafoe or DeFriend? Do you remember when I started this movie, I sent Seth a text and it was just Willem Dafoe's name in the opening credits, and then it said as Gas. And I was like, going into this, I'm like, oh, this is a sci-fi. I'm hoping, like, truthfully, I was like, oh man, I hope he's just like matter existing. And then we hear his voice. That's
Like
what
a
I was
cloud?
expecting. Yeah, just like gas, matter
Yeah.
existing. I was like, sci-fi, anything's possible. And he's the only one who gets like as character name, right?
Right.
And then we get him for just a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was Dafoe.
Yes, definitely. He ends up being that.
Yeah.
I had forgotten he was in this, and it is because it's a short little appearance, but he's always great. He's always a welcome presence, and the man has basically always looked exactly the same. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's aged a little bit recently, but like that's a long time to have
Yeah.
looked exactly the same. Good for him.
I love Defoe playing like, Gas is like, that's a character, and
Yeah.
he turns out to be like sinister and evil, and he has, I think, like the two best lines in the movie, which is, she changed your life, yeah, and I'm about to change hers. And then, hey, I like your script, I want to be in it. Like, him delivering those lines while holding a shotgun is like, it's just the best. It's the best thing. But then him at the ending being like, yeah, and like just playing like a normal guy. It's funny to see Willem Dafoe just be normal guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a dog throughout the movie. Michelle, do you know what this, I almost said brand of dog is, but I know that's not right.
It's crazy, the breed. I can't even picture the dog.
It's like a poodle. It's like curly-ish, but tall.
I don't even remember the dog. That's terrible. Wow.
Oh,
I
the
usually
dog.
take note of all the animals. I was probably just so like grossed out. Let me see.
So there's a few elements that kind of bleed through all of the layers. One of them is the guns.
Oh, yes. That dog who's like laying down. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then there's the dog who like goes and picks up the bone gun that he makes.
Yeah.
And then he's the dog at the very end who secretly has the guns.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you guys, again, we're in 1999. We have the Matrix, this whole idea of like what is real, what is not. And Cronenberg originally had it in his script to end this way, kind of ambiguous. He did film a version where they shoot the guy, but then he was like, I wanted to just leave it as a question. So for you guys, do you think that we're in the real world at the very end, or is this just another layer to the game?
I don't know. I'd like to think that it's just another layer to the film, mainly because there is or to the story. There is a line when Jude Law, our character, is talking about her killing the Ian Holmes character. He's like, if this is the real world, you actually just killed someone. And I know he's trying to guilt trip her, or the character is, but then they do kill someone in that other one. So I don't know if that's kind of like the sign that it isn't, that they're actually killing people. But I'm glad that it ends the way it does, because I'm like, I don't need another. But then actually, then pull that again, because then it becomes like a real gimmick.
Right.
I think
Yeah, it's
he
a
knew
bit.
when to
Yeah.
take a pause on it.
Right.
But I'd like to
Right.
think it's not the real reality.
Yeah, I agree to that. Or they are in reality, but those two are not mentally well and think they're still in a game causing havoc. So they're in their own game in reality,
Right.
which I guess is a game.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And talking about the film, Cronenberg said, he was like, I kind of believe that all realities are virtual.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I believe that they are still in a game, only because the dog gun holster reveal is so absurd and crazy.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all right, fine. We're in a more grounded reality that's closer to ours, where they're not porting into holes in their back with living video games consoles. They're just wearing a device that we, in 2026, we can see where that would be a reality, right? Much closer to ours. Fine. But then when they whip off the dog's back fur to reveal two guns, they establish that, like, in video games, you can do insane things like shoot your waiter, and then just everyone around will kind of go back to normal, because that's what happens in video games. So just the fact that, like, everyone in that church doesn't like scream and run, I'm like, I kind of think that we're still in it. And I like to think that we are the final layer to eXistenZ. Like, there are that many layers, and then the next layer is us as the people viewing the film. Like, there is no reality beyond that layer, because the next layer is us watching it. And so for that, I have to believe that the final layer kind of is still part of the game.
No, I think that's pretty well said, to be honest. And I'm glad that you brought up that dog reveal thing, because I was like, I knew someone would, but it was just like this like a weird fur blanket that he had on him, and he's just standing there at the end, like, cool.
Yeah, like a very good dog is just like, I don't really know what's going on. They strapped this thing to me.
Right.
But like, what an insane idea to be like, okay, we're gonna kill this game maker. How? Well, we're gonna bring our dog to the game testing, and while we're under for 3 hours, we're gonna really hope that no one pets him.
Right.
Okay, does anyone have any thoughts or notes that they would like to mention about the film?
The only thing is, I want to give a shout out to some Canadian actors who are in the film that I'm definitely a big fan of, and for people who are Canadian film lovers would recognize Don McKellar first, and namely, great actor, great director, and he plays Yigivni and the game maker towards the last quote layer. It's great when he gets to have his actual Canadian accent at the end, because whatever Ukrainian, Russian accent he was doing, rough.
Really rough.
But I think
yes.
he's a great actor, and I love him. And he's a staple in a lot of Cronenberg films. Callum Keith Rennie has been in a few Cronenberg, I'm pretty sure, but he's just like kind of a staple on Canadian television and a lot of Bruce McDonald films. And then Sarah Polley, who's probably the biggest name, a young Sarah Polley. And to be honest, I really wish that she had played the lead, because I feel like it would be a fully different performance, but I'd rather watch her. So those are my final thoughts.
Wow.
And again, sorry that this was your first. I really hope that you give it a few years and revisit Cronenberg.
Yeah, no. Like I said, the runtime was fine. Like, if this was 2 hours, this would be an issue here. But
Oh, yeah.
like this was fine. Like, yeah, we're good.
I thought about you a lot, Michelle, because there's so much interesting practical filmmaking that Cronenberg is utilizing, like rear projection in the car, the scenes where they like go into the video game. You know, again, like think about the Matrix and how digital that world is, and like when they literally jack in, like their port is at the top of their spine, where in eXistenZ it's at the base of their spine, but it's the exact same thing. And like when you port into the Matrix, everything turns into like green code and da, da, da. In this, you literally just like walk from one reality like into another. It just kind of like appears, and that really that impressed me. My last question is, if you guys had to hold and like hang out with either the tooth gun or the game pod for an entire day, what would you pick?
Tooth gun.
Yeah, it has to be the gun. The pod
Really?
is I just didn't like the way they were fingering the pods, to be honest.
Right. Exactly, Felicia. It just disturbed me, which like that's great. I'm glad it did. But tooth gun, give me that toy.
Yeah.
Wowie. Okay. All right.
You're playing with the pod?
Well, you know, I thought about the pod, and exactly like Felicia just said. I mean, and the movie is not like trying to be coy about the illusions that it's making to human sexuality and our relation to playing and fantasy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but why is the game pod so sexual? And then I thought back to when Cronenberg would have been introduced to video games. I was like, it was literally a joystick. It was literally like a big thing that you grabbed a hold of and like moved around in order to move your avatar on the screen. And so, you know, for a young Cronenberg, I'm sure he was like, why am I grabbing this phallic shape in order to move the man around on the screen? And so like everything in this seems really weird until you think about it. And then you're like, no, it's actually all really close to what we experience. And again, like having the context of the Salman Rushdie story is kind of like, oh, this actually isn't that crazy, because we're literally seeing it play out in this person's life, like over decades, like a person who's literally has a price on their head for anyone in the world to like murder, and because they're seen as like blasphemous. So yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that bad accent, Felicia, because one of the things I really do appreciate about the movie is when we get to the final moments and you see everyone talking in their normal voices, and you see like, okay, they all acknowledge that these are bad accents. And not to like trample over what you're saying, Michelle, about it not being a good video game, because I kind of agree. Like, I guess it's like the point is you're in a plot where there's, you know, betrayals and double agents, and you have to survive and figure out, you know, if he had killed her before she killed him, he would have won. That's kind of interesting, but like I don't want to be like dissecting frogs and stuff. Like, no way, absolutely not. But I do like that the movie acknowledges that like things look weird, people act weird, people sound weird, and it is meant to be bad. So I don't know that the movie is bad. It's just that it's portraying something that is less than good reality.
Yeah.
I think it's an important distinction, because we know he can make movies. Like, it's not like he forgot how to make a movie suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's get into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies and crappies.
Felicia, do you want to start, or do you want us to start? It's up to you.
I can start. I don't mind.
Okay.
I for my happies, I will say, and the only reason why I didn't bring it up through this is because I was saving it, but Seth mentioned the practical effects. I think seeing practical effects in a film where it was the slow rise of CGI and how Cronenberg has just throughout his career, even leading up to Crimes of the Future, has relied more on practical effects and utilizing artists who can build these devices for him that are feel like they have real life in them. That's always really nice for me to see, and for I think a lot of people who are film fans to see something where real artistry was happening, and not just a computer doing it. So that Crappies, I have to give it to Jennifer Jason Leigh. I'm sorry, I just really didn't like her. She just the vibe was not right for me, and but I won't shit on her mostly. I'll just keep it to the hairstyles that they gave her. It just I don't know. Maybe that's maybe they were also secretly annoyed by her character, and that's why they gave her such bad hair.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. My happy, I mentioned it a few times. It's just how David Cronenberg does not walk around being like, "Ooh, I'm spooky." He has an answer for everything, and it's usually very calm and normal. He's just a very highly intelligent guy, and he's an artist, and he puts things out there to be interpreted, but he has an interpretation. It's not all just like fake mumbo jumbo. And I'm going to use a name now, and I don't mean to say that this is fake mumbo jumbo, but it's not quite like David Lynch, where it's like I genuinely have no idea what is happening. With Cronenberg, you're on pretty solid ground. It's just very gooey and slimy ground. My crappy is that I do find the acting to be really distracting at parts. Like, genuinely, I'm like, oof, man. And again, all these people know how to act. He knows how to make movies, so I think it was a choice. But I do think it's a big pill to swallow. This movie is it's a big ask, I think, of people.
My hobby is that two-headed bug. Thought that was pretty cute. And my crappy was Allegra. Just did not like her.
Wow, you guys. I'm so sad.
Gotta live our truth.
That's right.
I can't believe you're saying this in front of Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's here.
It's just her character for me.
Well, we've talked about how we feel about the movie. So now let's hear from some strangers on the internet in a segment we call Half Star, 3 Star, 5 Star. Half Star, 3 Star, 5 Star. These are reviews from letterboxd.com, which is a website and an app where you can log, rate, and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating that you can give a film, and we go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating that you can give a film. And on this show, I read the half-star review in an accent or an impersonation. Are there any requests?
Felicia, do you have any requests?
Can you do a Willem Dafoe accent?
Oof.
Impression? Either that or try the Ian Helm one that he was doing. I don't even know what accent that was.
Yes, literally, as I was watching it the second time, I was like, I don't know what he's doing. And I tried. And his name is like Vinegar, but it's like vinegar.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't place what this is. Willem Dafoe, the only thing I can think of with Willem Dafoe is Bobby Peru from Wild at Heart. When he says, "It's a dummy.
Hey, you can do
but
that.
That's not a very good impersonation. I think Michelle, you should go to the wheel.
We should spin the wheel. Okay.
Yeah.
Wheel of Voices.
Sean Connery.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, hello, Michelle. Felicia.
Can you please read our half-star review?
It would be my honor. Okay. I had a really hard time pulling a half-star review for this because there were so many that were making me LOL. And I almost pulled like 4 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And normally on the show, I will warn people. Like when we did Petite Maman a few weeks ago, I was like, do not go and read the half-star reviews. These people are horrible. They're terrible. I actually would recommend, do yourself a favor. Sit down, pull up the half-star reviews for eXistenZ. It's pretty funny. Like
I'm going to right after this.
some of them, I actually was like, I get it. Okay. So I ended up pulling one, though, that I just thought it was funny. All right. So Sean Connery, take it away. Might be the dumbest movie I've ever seen in my life. Even having Willem Dafoe in it couldn't save it. Favorite quote? None. Thank you, sir. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Sean. Yes.
I loved the idea of putting a category in
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
just to say nothing.
It's pretty great.
Honestly.
That's pretty great.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Right?
Favorite character? No one. Okay, 3-star review says twisty, creative, interesting, trippy, gross, bizarre, thought-provoking, original, slow, repetitive, boring, well-crafted, and uneven. I'm ready for my bioport.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
journey this person went on.
Wow.
I know. I don't think I would say the movie's boring.
Mm-mm.
I think that really like the accents make it hard to keep up with exactly what's happening and who's who. So it's like
Yeah.
that might make you feel a little lost, but I don't know. Okay, 5-star review says, this has to be the best of all the VR/false reality films I've been watching and rewatching lately. For Cronenberg's mastery of creepy menace, but also for its unique ability to convey the true psychic threat of nested artificial simulations in effortless, cold-blooded detail. One of those movies that feels like a treasure we should be thankful for. I'd love to see a sequel.
Wow.
Okay.
What is the sequel to eXistenZ?
I don't know if it's even like a direct sequel or if it's sort of like whole new characters who have
Yeah.
learned from, the transcendence, if that's what the final layer was.
Right.
And how bad things have continued to progress. I mean, Crimes of the Future is sort of like an unwritten sequel to this too. It kind of has that weird futuristic no technology world that they're in with being ported into devices also. So maybe he did do a sequel. Just
Interesting.
an unofficial one. But I don't think we need eXistenZ 2.
No. What if it was eXistenZ's?
eXistenZ.
Make the word harder to say.
Oh gosh.
Okay, hey, what did Roger Ebert say?
Ebert, I wonder what you thought about this.
Well, he gave this 3 out of 4,
Wow.
which I was kind of shocked by, not gonna lie. And the quote that I pulled from his review says, eXistenZ is the new film from David Cronenberg, the Canadian director who must be a thorn in the side of the MPAA ratings board. He's always filming activities that look like sex, but don't employ any of the appurtenances associated with that pastime. That's a new word for me. In his previous film, Crash, the characters exhibited an unhealthy interest in wounds. This time, it's bioports. And what about those MetaFlesh game pods? Input devices which combine the attributes of a joystick, a touchpad, and a kidney. They pulse with a life of their own, and Allegra holds her as if it's a baby, or a battery-powered shiatsu machine.
Wow.
Okay.
So you might not be able to tell from that part of the review, but he liked it.
Yeah. Sometimes he surprises you.
I know.
Yeah,
he
sure.
really does. Yes. Yeah. I genuinely kind of never really know what to expect. The things that he hates, especially. I'm like, really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we rate things as a movie, schmovie, or a film. We rate it 1 through 5 stars and give our thoughts on the runtime, if we recommend it or not. We give a shout out to whatever part of the film's practical filmmaking stood out to us. Now, before we record each episode, we write down a guess of what the other host will rate the film. And every time we guess correctly, we get to add a point to our tattoo tally. And whoever has the most points at the end of the year gets to pick a tattoo for the other host that they will then get tattooed on them without knowing what it is first. Now, Felicia, unfortunately, you are not in this wager unless you want to be.
I mean, I feel like I would trust at least Michelle to give me a good one. Maybe no, Seth too. Seth is probably movie related. Michelle, hopefully you get me a nice little kitty
Yes.
tattoo.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I would give you now? I would give you the dog with its fur blanket pulled
Honestly,
off, and it's got 2 holsters.
I have worse tattoos, so it's okay.
Okay. Felicia, why don't you go first? You don't have to guess at our ratings, though.
Okay.
Yeah, just what you're rating. Yeah.
I classify this as a movie, and I think it's, if we're doing it out of 5, I think it's a 4-star. It's one of my, it's not my top favorite Cronenberg, but I'd say it's in my almost top 5, if not top 6. I enjoy it. I know it's a little silly, and it's, I think, for the Cronenberg heads, but I think it's not like a film Cronenberg. Like Videodrome is, I would classify more as a film. This is more of a movie to me.
Very good. Okay, Michelle, guess away.
For you, I wrote down 3.5 movie.
Very good. You're on a roll. You're on a freaking roll. Holy cow.
Baby roll.
So, wow. For the first time this year, Michelle takes the lead in the Michelle and Seth tattoo competition. Yeah, when I first watched this, I rated it 3 stars. You know, nothing bad, but I was like, this is not the Cronenberg for me. This time around, spending more time with it, appreciating it more, understanding it more. I love that he has so many films. Like there are directors who work for a very long time, and you know, God bless them. They don't end up with near as many films as Cronenberg has in his filmography. Like there's a lot, and so I appreciated this more, thinking like almost just like an episode of a TV show. Like in the filmography, in the fullness of his filmography. I like this one, and it's visiting his mind and his world and his view. It's not my favorite, but I appreciate it. Like Michelle said, I think the runtime is good. My second time around watching it, I was like, oh my God, we're already kind of like at the end. Like this is wild. I recommend this one only because I think I kind of recommend like all of his movies. Like maybe not the original Crimes of the Future. Unless you're really into Cronenberg, you can probably skip that one. Fast Company, his movie about like car racing, it's fine, but you know, you don't need to watch that one. But yeah, I recommend diving into this director. If this is the only movie of his that you've seen, or if you've only seen a few, keep watching them, because he is consistent in questioning our relationship to technology and the effect that it has on the human body and society. And he's like the only person who's still doing it year after year after year. And every new fad and every new advancement that comes out, he is there to be like, well, what about this part of it? And so like I said, I think he's one of the most important filmmakers of the last 40 years. And then practical filmmaking, all of it, all the film pod stuff, making it, they purposely didn't have anyone wearing patterns because he said patterns are too hard to render in real video games. And so since this was a video game, they didn't give anyone watches or jewelry or striped shirts or suits. There was a lot of thinking that went into how this movie looks, even if we don't like love it. there was a method to all of it. So yeah. So I'm upping my rating a little bit, and I recommend it. Michelle, I might be going too low. I'm guessing a 2.5-star film for you.
Oh, Seth, you're so close. 2.5 movie.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I can't
okay.
even believe you guessed the 2.5. Very good. Very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me, this is like a solid 2.5, but like not in the red and the green. And with much respect. I was not bored watching this. It kept me curious the entire time. And I like semi appreciate how gross it was in like a weird way. The runtime was great. I'm not recommending this to anybody. And as far as like the practical filmmaking, I appreciate how like low tech, low future it looked for something that took place in the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you kind of appreciate how gross we are, we would love it if you give us a rating and review wherever you're listening. You can also send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. I mean, hey, look, if you nominated or voted for this movie for this month, if you're our listeners who support us, send us an email. Let us know what you thought about eXistenZ.
Please.
You know what I mean? We would love to, please. We would love to hear from you. Or if you're just a regular person that we don't know, that we don't love with all of our heart, but you can still send us an email, right?
And then we'll love you with all our hearts.
That's all it takes. We are so needy.
The bar is so low.
And pathetic that we are literally like, this person talked to us.
Showed us attention. Wow.
And hey, on that note, you can also support the show. Patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Look, folks, okay? No, we will not come to your house and put our cord in your back hole, okay? No, we will not go and cut frogs open with you. But you do get access to ad-free episodes, all of our additional series and extra episodes. You get to join our Patreon-only Discord, and you get to vote on monthly episodes just like this one, okay? You get to nominate them, vote on them, whatever. Also, every 3 months, we do a whole theme based on your nominations and votes. So, come on. And if that's not enough, like we said at the top of the show, we are in the process of making a movie. And so, every dollar that you guys spend on a subscription to Movie Friends through patreon.com goes to buying, props, machetes. I bought a machete the other day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't you want to watch this movie and be like, I bought that machete? Oh my gosh.
How are they using that machete?
Well, then, though, they might be like, I don't like how you use that machete. I would have liked some more input. Back off, okay? You are silent producer. You know what? Actually, don't sign up. Actually, I take it back. I don't want. No, do it, please. But anyway, Felicia, holy cow. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for walking us through eXistenZ.
Gosh.
Can you please talk about your wonderful show and what you're doing over there?
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say a huge thank you for thinking about me. Anytime I get asked to be on the show, it's a real honor, and I always have the best time. And I'm not just saying that to your faces. Like, if I get to gush about a good movie, I'm always in, but it's even better with great company. But I do a show called Seeing Faces in Movies, and essentially what that show is, each month I focus on like a different director or cinematographer, and each week I invite different guests on. We talk about a film within that artist's filmography, and we track where they were in their career, what led them to make these films, and their stamps on the film in question. So it's usually 4 episodes per director. Just wrapped up Fritz Lang, and next one, which I guess by the time this comes out is a good time to announce. The next one is John Carpenter. So
no way.
I know. Trying something new.
Okay, wait. I'm going to press pause, folks. You don't get to hear this unless Felicia wants. What are you doing?
I'm doing Assault on Precinct 13. I'm doing The Thing. I'm doing Prince of Darkness, and They Live. With some people who have been on this show. You're going to see some familiar names. So it'd be a good time.
Wait, so I can keep that in?
Yeah, I don't care.
Wow, what a lineup. I hate Prince of Darkness, but other than that, what a lineup. And I'm still going to be listening to the episodes.
Yeah, I wanted to do the lesser, not lesser known, but the not less obvious ones, I guess.
Sure.
Except for the thing is obvious. But anyway, I'm excited. It'll be good.
They Live was the #1 movie at the box office the weekend that I was born.
Oh, that's a good one.
So that is my life movie.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you guys know your life movies?
I did, because we talked about this, but I forgot.
I don't know. I should know this.
You got to look it up. You got to look up what was #1 at the box office the weekend that you were born. And if you don't like the one that was the week of, you can even pick the one before. But hey, if you're listening to this, let us know. Send us an email. Let us know what your life movie is, please.
Mine's Total Recall.
Very cool. Okay. Hey, another movie about alternate realities.
There you go.
Oh, mine was Lethal Weapon.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
Nope.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody should listen to Felicia's show. It is genuine. I listen to... I can't even tell you how many movie podcasts I listen to. So many. And I turn half of them off after like 10 minutes. Felicia's is the only movie podcast that anyone should be listening to. And I mean that. Not even ours, okay?
I actually paid him to say that, so.
Oh my God.
You got to let the people know. Paid advertisement.
No, genuinely. It is the best. It's the best show. You will actually learn something. It's always very nice and fun discussions. Like, it's just everything bad about movie podcasts does not exist in that world. So
Jeez.
you have to listen, please. Okay, Michelle. Next week, hey, our 300th episode, which I didn't realize and wasn't going to make a big deal out of because I wouldn't have noticed. But I did notice, and so I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah. Next week, we're talking about Citizen Kane.
Oh
my God. From 1941, directed by Orson Welles, streaming. We don't know. We don't know where it's streaming.
Yeah, we don't know. Right now, it's not streaming anywhere, but with the new month, you never know.
That's true, because it'll be a new month.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And I just want to mention, we talked about the Movie Friends effect last week. Mm-hmm. I posted a poll on my Twitter where I asked if people enjoy Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, or Citizen Kane, Orson Welles more. Citizen Kane won.
Wow.
And then a day later, Letterboxd posted that it just joined the 1 million watched club.
Oh, wow.
What?
So is there something in the air?
Wow. Wow.
Maybe.
Wow.
We're going to explore it next week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Felicia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you, Seth.
Thank you, Billy Mays the third.
Yeah, and patrons for voting this.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for listening. And remember, folks, tell me the truth. Are we still in the game? Until next week, when we're talking about Citizen Kane for our 300th episode. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.